Hey guys, Smail here with another video about AI and machine learning for money and business. So in this video, we're going to be seeing how we can teach an AI to sell cars. And basically, it's about an R&D project, so research and development. So if you have guessed this by now, I think you might have known that this will be about a RAG project applied for a car dealership. So basically, this is the outline that I will go through in this video. First, I will do a quick recap about what is a RAG. Then I will tell you about the specific business use case for this project and the return that we can hope, to get. And of course, I will tell you about the specific dealership that we will apply this RAG project for. And then I will tell you more about why this is a research and development project, And then obviously I will talk about, but just generally about the steps that I will be doing for this RAG project. And then I will tell you more about what I will talk about in the next video. But basically, it will be like a multi-video series about building a RAG project for a car dealership. And for this video, I will just, talk you about the general procedure that we'll be following. So let's get started. First, let's do a quick recap about what is a RAG. Basically, a RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and what it means really is about building the AI brain of a business. Imagine like an AI system that knows the data and procedures of a business, and then people will ask it questions. It can be like employees or customers asking this system questions, and then this RAG will go and fetch information in this data and then answer back like something as specific and accurate as possible. So basically, it's about combining the unique data of a business plus the intelligence of like LLMs like ChatGPT and Gemini to answer something in an accurate and specific way. That's pretty much it. Now let's move to the business use case and return. Basically, the use case is the following. Imagine a car dealership wants to set up an AI speed-to-lead system. And basically why I'm saying this is that I had a discussion recently with the car dealership in the US, and they wanted to do exactly that. So basically what they want is to launch a paid ad campaign on Meta, and then each ad will be for a specific car. And the objective is to contact the lead who opts in as fast as possible, because the more we are slow, to follow up, the lower the conversion rate will be. And basically the leads will be contacted via an AI voice bot, and there will be like a RAG attached to this voice bot. And the goal basically is to book a test drive with the lead. So that's pretty much it, basically launching an ad campaign and contacting the leads as fast as possible to convert them into a meeting. Now you might be asking, why do we need a RAG system for this? So basically the RAG system will be like one component from this whole project, but there are three main reasons why do we need a RAG. First, it is a zero maintenance system, because basically, when you have car dealerships, the inventory changes all the time. Cars get bought and sold all the time, which means that if we have a system that knows all the time our inventory, we can quickly, launch a new meta ad campaign for new cars, So we don't have to every time like change things or like build a new system. It is set up and it is done. The second reason is that the leads, they rarely stick to one car. So during a conversation, you will have a lead that will say, hey, actually, do you have anything cheaper? Or maybe he will say, actually, I have a little bit more budget. Can we go for a similar car with more options? Or, hey, I'm also considering black SUVs apart from this specific car. Do you have something within the same price range? And having a system that knows about all the inventory will be super useful to increase the conversion rate. And the third reason why do we need a RAG is about future proofing. So basically, once the RAG will be in place, it will be reusable for so many things. We could imagine like setting up a chatbot on a website, that could answer questions of the leads. Or we could have omni-channel customer support. Imagine like this car dealership has like a Facebook page, an Instagram page. We could incorporate this chatbot and conversational agent into these pages so that they can answer the leads as fast as possible. And of course, this RAG system could also serve as like an internal tool for sales employees. So let's say like a lead walks into the physical location and then they start asking plenty of questions. So maybe, the employee can open up this tool and then start asking it, hey, do we have like black SUVs that are Ford under $30,000, something like that, and the tool will quickly fetch information and answer accurately. So I think you have guessed this by now. The main business outcome that we want is to make more sales. Basically, we want to incorporate the RAG into a system that will help us sell more cars per month. But now we'd like to quantify how much we can make by setting up this AI speed to lead system. So basically, I came up with some approximations using some reasonable numbers, for cost per lead and booking rates and so on, that works within the car dealership industry. So let's assume we will be using a $2,000 monthly ad budget for this meta ad campaign, and the cost per lead will be about $10. And this is a very reasonable amount for this industry, which means that on average we'll generate around 200 leads per month. Then here I wrote a voice AI reach of 90%. Because let's assume that not everybody will put like the right phone number. Sometimes they will make a mistake, sometimes they will just write the wrong number, sometimes there will be a foreign number that we can't reach. So let's assume that the voice AI reach is pretty high because, as soon as the lead opts in and fill up his information, he will receive a call. So there is no reason he would be busy, or something like that. So we end up with 180 leads that are reached. From there, we assume a 20% appointment booking rate for the test drive, which means that we would book 36 people. Then we just assume that there will be like a show-up rate of 70%, which means that here 25 people would come up into this dealership to test the car. And let's also assume a closing rate of 20%. Here this is a pretty pessimistic scenario because I've seen that on average it is about 1/3 of the people that are closed, which means like normally it would be like 33.3%, but here I just said let's set it up to 20%. This would correspond to 5 cars sold every single month. And then here again I assume that we have an average profit per car of $2,000. And again, this is also pessimistic because I've seen that on average for used cars, the profit is about $2,500. So 5 times 2,000, we come up with 10,000 gross profit monthly for this AI speed to lead systems that incorporate this RAG system. Now, the car dealership that we're going to apply this RAG system for is called Premium Cars Florida. And this is their website. As you can see, this is the typical car dealership website that you would find with like featured cars and all type of financing options and so on. The reason I chose this dealership specifically is that first, they have a very good Google reviews on Google Maps, more than 1,600 reviews and 4.7 stars, which is very good. But the second reason, and more importantly, is that if we go to their website and then we type /robots.txt, we come up with this web page here. We can see the instructions for the bots that crawl the internet. Usually those are Google bots, we can see how they should behave. So basically here it says that any type of user agents, so any type of bot, they are not allowing those bots to crawl this web page, which actually corresponds to the admin dashboard of WordPress. which is a good sign, which means that they allow the listings, to be crawled. And more importantly, they have a sitemap. So a sitemap is this link here, as you can see, that actually makes it super easy for the bots to crawl all the listings. And the objective of this is that first, it makes it easy for Google to rank the website on Google, basically. And the second reason is that it makes it super easy for us to do web scraping, because in this web page here, we would have a list of all the listings for all the cars, and then it will be super easy to build a bot to crawl all over this data. Now, moving on to why this is an AI research and development project. So the first reason is super simple, is that the business outcome is super clear, which is about increasing the sales, right? But the technical part is not, because basically we do R&D when we want to achieve a business outcome, right? But we need to go through experiments to test which technical solution will be the best. And basically we want to discover which RAG pipeline will perform the best in terms of some metrics that I will talk about. And also, as I say here, we have multiple viable technical solutions, because whenever we want to build a RAG system, we don't have a one-size-fits-all, because there are multiple moving parts in every single step of building a RAG system. We can have multiple retrievers, different LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, some open source ones, right? We also have different chunking strategies and knowledge representation. And all of those things here, they affect the accuracy, the latency, and the cost per query. So all those three things are called metrics, evaluation metrics, that we'll use to evaluate the RAG system that we'll be building. So basically, what I mean here is that all the possible solutions, there are multiple combinations of things that we can put together to get a RAG system. And every single time we assemble those Lego blocks together, we'll get a unique pipeline that we need to test. And this unique pipeline will give us different metrics in terms of accuracy and so on. That's why we say that we need to follow a R&D process, which is iterative, to get our final system, basically. Some other important reasons why this is an R&D project is that RAG plus voice is an uncharted territory. We have still things that are coming up every single day in terms of technology, and we're still figuring out how to build those systems in the best possible way, because we need to manage the latency, because when the AI voice bot will call the lead, this bot needs to know everything about the inventory of the dealership, but shouldn't feel like we're talking to an AI, right? It should feel super natural. And also we need to manage the context, because let's say in a conversation, the AI and the lead are discussing some black SUV, right? Some Ford. And then they're discussing the specs and so on, the price range, the financing options and so on. And then moving on to another brand, I don't know, maybe a BMW, and they also discuss some stuff about this model and so on. And then the lead wants to go back to the first model because he wanted to ask a question. Hey, can I don't know, have some automatic option on it or something like that, Well, the AI needs to know about the context and needs to remember what was discussed before, and all of this needs proper management. The last reason why this is an AI research and development is always when it's about building some technical stuff, we'll have trade-offs. This is something that comes up all the time. And basically we need to discover those trade-offs and choosing the right ones. So maybe it will be about faster responses versus more accurate responses, right? Or cheaper versus more natural. Or having low latency versus low context size, right? So we need to choose which trade-off would be the best for this particular project. Now we move on to the general steps that I will be doing for this project. The first one will be about data extraction, and this comes up in pretty much every single RAG project. We want to feed some specific data to the AI so that it will know from where to fetch the data to answer accurately. And since this data is available on websites, then we'll be relying on something called web scraping. It's about saving data that is accessible from the internet. I actually have a lot of experience, doing web scraping. I have done that during my master's. I have done that for some side clients. But basically, we'll go through either, using a tool, like a no-code tool, or just, coding that by myself, because I already have like code that is ready to be used for pretty much any type of project. And we'll see exactly how we'll do that. The second step, and for me, the most important one, is about building an evaluation data set. Because, at the end of the day, it's not about building something. It's about making sure that the thing that we build is super accurate and specific, So as I wrote here, it is super important to test the entire RAG pipeline. And basically, it's also about making sure that this system prioritizes accuracy over sounding useful, And we want that whenever we ask something and we don't have this data, or the AI doesn't know, it says that I don't know, but doesn't make up something or hallucinate something on the fly, right? We don't want this kind of behavior, right? So basically, building the evaluation data set will be about coming up, like crafting a list of questions and answers with varying levels of difficulty. To see whether, the AI is actually able to fetch the right data and answer the right answers, basically. The first type of question would be easy. So they will involve a direct lookup into the data set. An example of this would be, what's the price of the 2022 Toyota Camry? Or does it have a sunroof, right? So this will be super easy to answer by an AI. The second type of question would be of moderate difficulty, and those would involve multiple contexts. And examples of that will be which of your SUVs are under $25,000? Or do you have any electric cars in stock? And basically for this question, it will have to go over all the SUVs in the inventory and then compare them in terms of price range and then generate the answer. We also have hard questions, and those will be involving advanced reasoning and implicit context. Some examples could be, what's the cheapest hybrid you have right now? Or which cars have similar mileage to the blue Civic, And we'll also have a special type of questions that involve edge cases. So for example, do you sell motorcycles? We know that the answer will be most likely no, because this is a car dealership, right? So we do that on purpose to test whether the AI will be hallucinating something, right? Or we also have questions like, do you still have the 2021 model when no one exists, right? To also double down on it and double check whether the AI will be hallucinating or not. So this is very important to also include those type of questions in the evaluation dataset. And then obviously the next step will be about building the actual RAG pipeline. So when we have a RAG, we generally have two steps. The first one will be about retrieving the information, basically fetching the right type of information within our data set, but also the generation part, which is about using the LLM to generate the answer. And we have multiple moving parts in each of those parts here, and we can, go over many things to build our final RAG system. The next step will be about the evaluation. We have many ways to evaluate a RAG system, and one of them are called RAGAs, which is a framework to test the accuracy of this RAG system. And then the next part will be about the enhancing, basically enhancing those parts, because, we'll be following like a scientific method, meaning building something, testing it, enhancing it, and then so on and so forth, until we have something like super accurate for our business outcome. And finally, once we'll be super happy with our final system, we'll be doing the integration of the system to a user interface. So basically, we'll be building like a simple web interface where we can ask our questions and then the AI will generate the answers. So in the next video, we'll be seeing how we'll be doing the web scraping, the tools that I will be using, and also building the evaluation dataset. So yeah, guys, that was pretty much it about this introductory video for this RAG project. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget that every single time there will be like a new video where I will highlight some code that I created. The code will be available via my Discord community, and you will be able to download it for free. Cheers, guys.